What's going on, my friends? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. I want to talk about the main story of the day. Besides information about Kim Jong-un, that's kind of crazy too, but the World Health Organization is now saying that getting infected with the coronavirus one time there's no evidence that shows that that's going to stop you from getting infected with it a second time, which is of course going to delay a lot of their methods and whatnot. I mean, you even have certain governors talking about it's going to be years until we return to normal. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to stick to the facts, because since the World Health Organization is saying this, we really have to document the World Health Organization every step of the way. In January, they said it wasn't human-to-human transmission. That ended up being wrong. In February, they said that putting a travel ban is fear and stigma. According to their own thoughts now, that's wrong. In March, they were, collaborating in some format. I don't know if they knew it, but the Surgeon General of the United States on March 30th put a World Health Organization memo out saying not to wear masks. Now you know that it's the opposite. They tell you that you have to wear a mask. That ended up being wrong. So now we're in April, and then they say something again, and I guess Facebook and Google and all of these big corporations are just expecting us to ignore reality and ignore the facts. But since they're so obsessed with fact checkers, we have to stick to the facts and say the World Health Organization was wrong in January. They said it couldn't be human-to-human transmission. That's completely wrong. In February, they said travel bans were fear and stigmatized and you shouldn't do it. That was wrong. In March, they said that we should wear masks. Shouldn't wear masks if we weren't around somebody sick. That ends up being false information according to our health experts now. So why in the world would we not be allowed to question or not question what they say now? And there's also multiple reports out of Times of Israel reporting on Italian preliminary results saying that the virus is airborne. There's also a university, I believe in Nebraska, they've studied and they think that the virus is airborne as well. That's a theory. I can't prove that, but the World Health Organization says it's not airborne. So when it comes to every step of the way, every single month, every single theory around this virus, it's hard to ignore the facts and realize that they've been wrong. So I'm not quite sure exactly why we should 100% believe this, but even if you do, there's a silver lining to it as well, and we're going to talk about that. God bless you guys. Let's see, we'll do some shout outs for a little bit. Hopefully you enjoyed today. I got some sunlight. I'm feeling good. I'm even considering taking a vacation to Georgia as soon as Georgia opens up, to support them in their decision to, open up shop. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and if you're scared and paranoid about what's going on, then you could stay inside till 2022 with, the governor of Virginia or whatever. So, it's all love. If you're really frightened, you don't have to leave the house. You don't have to, you don't have to go to Georgia. But I think I'm going to probably try to support that guy there and support the hospitality workers and such in Georgia. Meanwhile, the rest of the state continues to lay off tens of millions of workers every week. Let's talk about it. I'm going to read some comments. We got Chris. Chris said China just laid a lot of paper. World Health Organization. I mean, there's a lot of money going into the World Health Organization from the U.S., from other individuals, from China, and, regardless of who they're getting funded by, it's a fact. I can't, Facebook fact check, so fact check true. The World Health Organization said in January, human-to-human transmission. Fact check, completely wrong. It's still on their Twitter. For some reason, they're above the law. They're allowed to lie. I could retweet them as a what do they call them, an expert or whatever. It's wrong. I could lie to my audience by retweeting the World Health Organization right now. I won't do it because I'm not a liar and I don't want to deceive people, but on their Twitter, they still have the idea that it can't be transmitted between humans. You could still retweet it like the WHO said it today. That's how incompetent they are. And in February, they said it's fear and stigma to do a travel ban. In March, they said to not wear masks. Only people that are sick should wear masks. Now you can't do that, or else you'll get arrested going to the supermarket following their advice. And now in April, after failing 3-4 times to really, get an early start on the information we have today, they're saying this, and Twitter's promoting it and just saying, this is such a discovery. We'll chat about it. And I also want to say, too, for new viewers or people in general, I'm trying to debate anybody, because a lot of people watch my streams and they say, I don't agree with Anomaly, or I do agree. Whatever. I'm willing to debate anybody. Anybody, right-wing thought leader, any left-wing thought leader, non-political thought leader, health expert, I don't care. I'm willing to debate anybody on the shutdown and my perspective on if we should stay shut down or not. Unlike everyone else, I'm not hiding. I'm not just hiding in my own corner. I'll debate anybody. I want to talk about the death rate. They told us it was a 3.4 death rate, the World Health Organization. They said that early on. That's not true. According to some antibody tests, it's 0.1. It could be less. It could be a little more, 0.4, 0.5. We're not talking about 30 times worse than the flu. We're talking about 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. It's unclear now, but it could even possibly be less according to antibody tests. I'm not saying they're for sure true, but it's absolutely lower than the 3.4 World Health Organization. They said the whole theory behind the shutdown, you listen to anybody, they say, no, we weren't trying to stop the spread. You can't stop the spread. That's what they're saying now. You could get it twice. You could get it 3 times. That's the new World Health Organization information. They said we stopped to not overwhelm hospitals. We had to build ventilators. Remember, Andrew Cuomo said 30,000 people are going to die in my state because they're not going to have ventilators. Not only was his prediction ridiculously far off, but also we built excess ventilators because we shut down corporations and made them, forced them basically to make ventilators. We have excess ventilators. We're sending them to the Philippines, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but we're sending them to, I think Ethiopia was one of the ones Trump said. We're sending them all over the world. And that's the whole reason we shut down, so we didn't get overwhelmed. We're not overwhelmed at this very moment. You have hospitals across the countries laying off workers. They can't get work because they shut down elective surgery. So the whole theory behind the slow of the spread and the flattening of the curve was to temporarily stop it, not defeat it, eliminate it. That was never right. I know people said that. It was to slow the spread so hospitals didn't get overwhelmed. Didn't happen. We overwhelmed hospitals. Here we are. They're talking about shutting down for 2 years. They're saying you can get it twice, 3 times. It's absolutely bananas. Nothing they say adds up, and Trump really needs to step up. I said he might be part of the swamp on Twitter today. People got upset with me. It's more of a challenge than it is, people are like, you're a turncoat. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to the guy who ran on freedom. It's a challenge to the guy who ran on the economy. The economy's being destroyed. Freedom's being taken away, and he'd rather fight the governor of Georgia for opening up shop than he would the tyrannical governors of, liberal states. So who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. He's retweeting the CDC 10 times. I'm not even exaggerating. I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. He retweeted the CDC 10 times. Maybe he's a PR team for them now because he controls the government. I don't know, but I don't know who this guy is, and I can't just pretend like it's cool. Regardless of his little theories or games, it's like tens of millions of jobs are being destroyed. The data was wrong. The death rates were wrong. Every model that they had to justify the shutdown was wrong. Any theory of not overwhelming the hospitals shutdown was wrong. Here we are. I'm not blaming him. It's not his fault. He was deceived. He was lied. He was conned. That's fine. But today, he should know better by now. Everyone else knows better. We learned the death rates are lower. We learned we flattened the curve that didn't ever exist in the first place. Because the model was fake. And here we are, and he still doesn't get it. So, bro, wake up. Trump Jr., wake up. Donald Trump, wake up. People who follow me, wake the F up. Because every week, every day, every month that you keep shut down, it's going to make it harder and harder and harder for people to open up. Thousands of businesses are never going to open up. The hospital system is being overwhelmed due to canceling elective surgeries. Governors of Virginia, New Jersey, New York, California, Michigan are completely out of control, and Trump's complimenting them left and right and spending all his focus fighting with the Wall Street Journal because he wants them to know that he doesn't agree with Georgia's governor. Well, guess what? Personally, as a citizen, I do agree with Georgia's governor, and I'm going to go vacation there and support them as soon as I can. So let's start it up. So the World Health Organization said today that you can get infected a second time. So at first they were going with the theory, I don't know about the WHO, not the band, but the World Health Organization, agency of the United Nations. Look into it, but that's true. I don't know what they were saying, but all our experts, Trump, a lot of people, they were saying for a while, like, we're going to defeat the invisible enemy. It's going to disappear. We're going to defeat the virus. And overall, they're now finding that you might be able to get infected a second time, a third time, a fourth time. They don't know, but they say there's no evidence that getting it one time will stop you from getting it 2 times. That's not originally, I'm not going to say the WHO, but that's not what a lot of the news and the media was saying. They basically made it seem like once you got it once, you'd build up antibodies in your body and in internal mechanisms to fight from getting it again. Here's the funniest thing about the World Health Organization admitting that you might be able to get it a second time. there's a lot of viruses or diseases. I don't know how you want to classify them. It's a virus until you get it. It's a disease, whatever. There's a lot of them, the common cold, the flu. That's how the flu works, you know? And the funny part about it is them admitting that kind of exposes that their solution's not really a solution. So the whole, and I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in the science of real vaccines when they're safe, tested, and they're effective. I get the science behind it. But the whole theory behind the vaccine, the flu vaccine, is, you know, you get it, we give you a little piece of it, we have the right concoction in there, and then you won't get the flu because now you have the antibodies and your body's ready for the flu. That's the whole science behind the flu. I simplified it, but you get it. So maybe that's why the flu vaccine has been here for 70 years and we still haven't eradicated or even really slowed the spread of the flu. I mean, it's just a fact. They report that like around 50% of adults get the flu vaccine. We're experiencing record high flu seasons. In the last couple decades, we're having some of the worst ones now. Not ever, but in the last few decades. 80,000 people dead in 2018. Scientific American, this is all facts that I'm talking about. Scientific American reported this year that the flu vaccine was off the mark because of the flu. There's not just one strain of flu. It mutates. There's a lot. They guess wrong. You don't have protection. And even if you have protection, the whole theory behind it is that you're getting it, a little piece of it, so your body can fight it and then be better prepared to fight it. But what the World Health Organization is saying about coronavirus now, or COVID-19, is that even if you get antibodies by getting it once and your body learns how to fight it, you're still susceptible to getting it a second time or a third time or a fourth time. Or they're pretty much just fear-mongering, saying you could get it again. That's how the common cold and the flu works, which is probably exactly why your vaccines don't work, besides the fact that they mutate. And I'm not saying people will be like, oh, this is fake science. Google flu vaccine off its mark. It's in scientific journals. What they do, and this is all factual, they go to the World Health Organization about 2 times a year with all the experts, and they try to guess which flu strain it is, because there's so many, they don't know which one it's going to hit. They try to guess the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, and then they guess, and a lot of times they don't choose the right one because it's really not that easy. So the whole science behind it's going to eradicate it or we can't go back to normal until it happens makes even less sense now, because it doesn't seem like the type of virus that you can really build a strong enough antibody system to fight from getting it again, and they're admitting that. So maybe that's why after 70 years of a flu vaccine, the flu is far from eradicated. In fact, if you look over the last 5, 6, 7 years, there's no evidence to even suggest it's going backwards. It's actually getting worse in many ways. 80,000 people dead in the winter of 2018. That's not good. That's the flu. That's a fact. It's in CNN. It's all over the place. You know, here, people think I'm making this stuff. Flu vaccine off the mark. This is from the Scientific American, and it's all over. It's in healthline.com. It's everywhere. Where is it not? LiveScience.com, this year's flu shot does not match what's circulating. Scientific American, flu vaccine selection suggests this year's flu shot might be off its mark. The strains chosen for the Southern Hemisphere vaccine suggest that the Northern Hemisphere one may not provide optimal protection. And then they tell you, oh, but it covers 30% or 40%. I mean, I would love to see the science on if you pick the wrong strain, how much protection it really gives you. I mean, maybe it does. I'm not here denying science, but it's like how many... They can't eradicate this disease, and they can't eradicate COVID-19, guys. And the whole science, I'm not denying the science behind how real medicine works. I'm telling science. The flu vaccine has been here for 70 years, and it hasn't even come close to eradicating the flu. And it looks like COVID-19 seems like a similar virus. You can get it multiple times. You don't get the flu one time in your life like the measles or whatever. And I'm not saying you get those once, but, you know, chicken pox, those type of things you don't get every year like the flu. You get what I'm saying? The flu doesn't disappear, and it looks like COVID-19 is not going to disappear, but they have no plan, even though the death rate is now far lower than what they said. They have no plan back to integrating society. It's phase 1, phase 2. We might have to last for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, despite every theory that they've had thus far, from human to human transmission, from fear and stigmatized travel bans, to not wearing masks, to maybe it is or isn't airborne. There's different reports coming out of different countries and universities. Who says it's not airborne? Italy scientists say it is. University, I believe, of Nebraska scientists say it is. Who knows? You know, you could believe whoever you want, but overall, There's no science behind slowing the spread to stop the hospitals to be overwhelmed. We did that. Now what? We're going to wait 2 years with a virus that can come back. It's not like you get it one time. Guys, this is the never-ending game of let's shut down the world for 5 years. They have zero plan to reintegrate society. They have zero shame. None of them want to tell the truth. Trump is now a PR team for the most dishonest people on the planet. I'm sorry. I watched the Surgeon General Diamond and Silk interview. The Surgeon General is a bona fide liar. They asked him a question about internet connection. I'm not going to say the word. They asked him a question because they're like, there's a lot of misinformation going on. He says, misinformation is costing more lives than the virus. He said something along those lines. So get this. The Surgeon General of our country, the health expert, says misinformation is essentially, damaging more people than the virus. He himself lied to our faces. He told us on March 30th that we should listen to CNN and the World Health Organization, and people shouldn't wear masks if they're not around people who are sick or they're sick themselves. Now we realize that's a lie. The crazy part is not that the Surgeon General had bad intel on March 30th. The crazy part is that he then lied about it on television in April and told us the reason he now realizes we all should wear masks is because he just figured out they got new information that the virus is asymptomatic. That's really what he said. Look up the thing. So they told you not to wear a mask because they just figured out in April that the virus was asymptomatic. We've known for months, since February most likely, or at least March, that the virus was asymptomatic. So that's a bona fide lie. And he's saying misinformation hurts more people than the virus. Well, then you stop lying, bro. You're the health leader of this country, quoting the World Health Organization, CNN, lying to people for an entire month, and then lying about why you lied. So you're misinforming more people than anyone else. I don't know. I'm tired of these people. It's ridiculous. So overall, I'm pro-science. I'm pro-medicine when it's done properly. But they just keep moving the goalpost. 36 times as many people are going to die from the flu. Okay, that sounds really bad. Let's shut down. Well, we're not stopping the spread. You still might get it. It's still going to spread, but we're just slowing it down to not overwhelm hospitals. Okay, well, that makes sense. I get that. We're not going to stop the spread, but we could slow it down temporarily to help hospitals. Then it turned to we actually overwhelmed hospitals. We overcompensated. We had ventilators that we're sending to other countries now. We got nurses getting laid off left and right. Okay, well, yeah, COVID-19's bad. It's still going, but overall, we kind of overcompensated. Okay, now what? Now it moves on to the death rates less than or at the same rate, or potentially 2, 3, 4, 5 times higher than the flu. That's even admitted in Lancet Journal now. They said 0.66, which is 6 to 7 times worse than the flu. And even that's an overcompensation or an overestimation. We'll find out in a few months that even with real antibody tests that work properly, that number was wrong. So nothing about what they've said makes sense, even if you believe every single thing that they've said, including, the vaccine's going to save you in 2 years. Go get it. I'm not denying that. I'm not telling people what to do with their lives and their medical freedom. But overall, if this virus comes back multiple times, maybe I'm no expert or scientist in the lab, but maybe that's why we've had the flu vaccine since 1942, and we're experiencing some of the worst flu seasons in decades, because maybe when there's a virus that mutates a bunch of times, and maybe when it's something that does come back, maybe the theory behind giving it to somebody in a small dose and building antibodies doesn't work properly. And that's exactly what the World Health Organization is saying now. You could get it twice, you could get it 3 times, you can get it 4 times. So getting it initially isn't going to stop you from getting it again. So that kind of debunks their whole theory of why they think their medication is going to work properly. And in all data, there is no vaccine for the common cold. There's been a vaccine for the flu for 70 years. Fact. When was the first flu vaccine created? You could predate it, but the first real one, 1942. We live in 2020. That's over 70 years of having a vaccine for the flu. 70 years of research, 70 years of science. The flu mutates, guys. You can't stop it. They're trying desperately, but they can't guess the right strain. And then they have to tell you that it still has protection. That's fine. There's no correlation between the amount of years we've been studying the vaccine to the eradication of disease. That's a fact. It doesn't exist. Coronavirus, COVID-19, at least, is brand new, according to their reports. So they're telling you they're for sure going to eradicate it or stop it or slow it in 2 years when it's not even been tested on humans yet? They don't know, guys. It's a total guess, and it's a guess based on, I wouldn't say science. I would say it's more financially driven and agenda driven than it is science. There's no scientist on the planet that will tell you for sure we have a cure for something that isn't even out on the market yet because it's never been tested, if it's even been created in its full form yet. No one's saying that. Trump's not saying it. Bill Gates is not saying it. Their vaccines are not done, and if they're done, they're not tested yet. The closest one to being released is in China, who I would not trust, just to be honest, their CDC. They're saying they're going to have a vaccine done in November. You know why it's not out today? Because it's not proven or safe yet. If it was, it would be out tomorrow. So there is no science in the entire planet that suggests that for sure that's going to work. They're just speculating it's going to work because they want it to work. But based on what they just told the world, it sounds like it has an even less chance of working if it's a virus that you could get multiple times. So it's just ridiculous. And just to clarify, because they're going to try to misframe what I'm saying. And once again, anybody that has a problem with what I'm saying, I'm down to debate and have a conversation with any health expert, any scientist. I would love somebody get me in contact. I'm going to text my Republican friends after this. Somebody give me an interview with the Surgeon General. I would love to question that guy because nothing he's saying makes sense to me. And I know he's against misinformation, so he should be able to admit he misinformed the public on March 30th and told people not to wear masks. And then he lied about it on television and said they just figured out that the virus was asymptomatic, so that's the reason for the mask mandate, when we all knew for at least over a month that it was asymptomatic, so that makes no sense. I'd love to have a conversation with the top health experts in the country. Conversation, debate, whatever you want to call it. Anybody, right wing, left wing, health expert, doctor, scientist, wizard. I'm not hiding it. I want to give their information to the public. So let's have a conversation because I want to ask about the strategy. I want to ask about the death rates. I want to ask about the hospitals overwhelmed theory. I want to ask about 2 years of shutdown. I want to ask about how are they so sure that they have a cure or a slowing of the spread of something that's not even been tested in humans yet, and there's no date on when it's going to come out because they have no idea. None of this is settled science. It's all manipulation. It's all a real situation, a real bad situation. I've never said it was fake. That's never been what I've said. I'm not lying to people. I'm just saying a real situation, but a manufactured response to it. I'm not saying that's manufactured, but the response has been a million times manufactured by people who are compromised at best and just completely demonic at worst. I mean, these are the same people that are blocking the sun out. It's like, dude, UV ray lights are good for people. Vitamin D is good. Getting sunlight is good in moderation, you gotta say. Too much will burn you. Too much will probably kill you. So yeah, get sunlight in moderation. Don't overdo it. But these are the same people blocking out the sun. They have a God complex at best. You know, they're possessed at worst. And overall, I don't know who voted on it. If this is truly a democracy, which obviously it's not, no culture in any part of history would let anyone block out the sun. No civilization ever in any part of history would ever allow somebody to block the sun out. Every civilization ever has understood the importance of the sun, whether it's the American farmer or whether it's the, Incan, Mayan, deities or whatever. What are they doing, guys? It's getting out of control. All right, let's read some comments. Thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna respond. And just to let you guys know, because I know there's some people who don't agree with me, right wing, left wing. I don't care. Reach out to me. Get me your best doctor. Get me your best scientist. Get me your best expert. Get me your best virologist. Get me your best anybody. Right wing, left wing, thought leader, doctor, scientist. I will give them a platform. I will broadcast the message that you think that I'm not sharing. I will broadcast it to my entire channel in full without editing out clips. All I ask is that I'm allowed to ask questions. I'm absolutely down to do that. So, anybody that's upset with what I'm saying, most people will just be sneaky and just say what they want to say and never let anybody hear anyone else. I'm willing to let the other side speak its full force. The biggest expert. Let's do it. Let's have a conversation. I'm going to read. Johnny said, I totally agree with you. How long have they had the flu vaccines? Still flu every year. That's all. It's not, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in real vaccines. I'm just saying the flu vaccine has been here for 70 years, 70 plus years. That's a fact. The flu has not been eradicated. That's a fact. 80,000 people died from the flu last winter, or two, 3. That's a fact. We've had some of the worst flu seasons in decades. According to CNN, it's on their website. That's their fact. That's a fact. The CDC report, this is all confirmed. Nobody's denying what I'm saying. So I don't understand. It's like, do they have a cure for cancer that's on the market yet for anybody? No. How long has cancer been here? So there's no guarantee that you could find a solution for stuff. And one thing that we do know, when it comes to sunlight, at least according to the saliva reports from the Department of Homeland Security Science and Technology Division, is that sunlight kills the virus much, much faster than being indoors actually does, which should be taken into consideration when you're running a state or governor, when you get that new information, which we all knew anyway, but it's now been scientifically proven by the government, which is nice, and John Hopkins, that little collaboration. You got to take this into consideration. I mean, if I think it's, you guys get it. Someone said, I refuse to live in fear. I'm not living in fear. They scared me for a few weeks, for sure. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it's not bad, but it's a fact. Let's go through the facts. World Health Organization said in January that this virus couldn't be transmitted human to humans, or their reports said that based off of what China said. That's a fact. They said human-to-human transmission was unlikely. That's a fact. In February, they said travel bans were fear and stigma and, not to do it basically. That's a fact. In March, the Surgeon General tweeted a World Health Organization recommendation that we shouldn't wear masks. We should not wear masks. That's a fact. April, they're saying that now, getting it one time does not mean you'll get it a second time. That's a fact. The death rate, they claimed it was 3.2 or 3.4 a few months ago, which was always fake. It wasn't a guess. It was a terrible guess by people who are not trying to do math and science at all, because everybody knew it wasn't that high. If you think confirmed cases to death rate is the right equation, confirmed cases was never right, because asymptomatic people have it and they're not getting tested. And also, when they put out the 3.4 death rate, America was barely, if at all, testing people. So how can you even have the right amount of confirmed cases? They've been lying every step of the way. All of their data has been wrong. All of their guesses have been wrong. All of their predictions have been wrong. And that's a big part of the equation. If it's a 3.4 death rate, holy crap, hide indoors, this is going to kill millions of people. If it's a 0.1 death rate or 0.2 or 0.3 or 0.4 or 0.5, that's the difference between 15 times, 30 times, maybe more. According to antibody tests, you're finding 30 to 50 to 80, 85 times as many people have it, according to some of these guesses. Those are speculation well off of antibody tests, to be honest, that probably haven't been tested as much as they should because they're greenlighting everything so fast. But this needs to be talked about. So bring on anybody that has a problem with what I'm saying. I will give your favorite virologist, your favorite doctor, your favorite scientist, your favorite expert, or your favorite political thought leader, I will give them free airtime to tell my audience any message that they want to tell them about what I'm saying or about anyone. I am willing to do that. Who wants to debate me? Someone on Twitter was arguing with me on the right wing. I said, let's have a debate. And then all of a sudden, say, oh, I'm not an expert. You should talk to an expert. Of course you're not an expert, bro. I'm not saying I'm a scientist or a virologist, but I am an expert at asking questions. I am an expert critical thinker. You don't need a scientific PhD degree to not be a moron. So I identify about what they said then and what they said then, so I could ask the experts, why did you say this and why did you say it now? And then they'll say something, and then I can ask a question. So I'm willing to give them free airtime. Who wants in? All right, I'm going to read this comment. You're on the air, Sarah from Hawaii. God bless Hawaii. Aloha. Mahalo. Mahalo. Hawaii is still giving people $5,000 fines here in Kauai, and we have one active case that's been in quarantine in the hospital for 3 weeks. That's called tyranny, guys. There's no science that talks about that. This is tyrannical. It's absolutely tyrannical. There's no scientific study that says that's a good idea to fine people. Meanwhile, it's actually sunlight that's better than being indoors. I'm not saying to go in a crowded place and hug people in the sun. That's not a good idea. But if you're keeping your distance or not being a total psychopath, being in the sun, yes, is being better than indoors, most likely. I'm not saying, hey, let's have a party with 10 million people laying on top of each other. No, but if you're going to be with the same people indoors and the same people in the sun, it's better to be in the sun. That's just a fact. Someone said, where's the antibody test? They have antibody tests out, and the ones that they have on the market are proving everything I said was right. And I'm not patting myself on the back. It's more pathetic that they didn't know that than it is that I knew that. Someone said, you need to go on their channels, find a kindred YouTuber. I'm down to debate anybody. They got to hit me up. Nobody wants to, though. Critical thinker is a buzzword. Yeah, you get it, Jeff. Someone said, is Bill Gates a doctor? No, but there's very few doctors or at least experts involved in this type of stuff that he's not in some capacity working with. The guy's everywhere. And that's fine. He has the entrepreneurial right to get involved in stuff if he has a passion in it. That's fine. You know, he has a passion in abortions, birth control, vaccines, and blocking out the sun. It's all interesting activities. You know, those are his passions. I have mine. Other people have theirs. So he has the right to have those passions. I have the right, and you have the right to say, I don't see the correlation between getting your product that doesn't even exist yet and the slowing or the stopping of the spread. There's, you know, what science says that? I'm going to read this. Let me see. Belinda, you're on the air. I got to pretend like this is a radio show because we got kind of, you know, low quality production. But if I say that, it feels realer. Belinda said, my daughter's boyfriend just found out he has it, but the weird thing is he doesn't look sick. Am I the only one that thinks the test is giving to them? Well, they did have tainted tests at one point. I can't say that his test gave it to him, but there's multiple possibilities. One, they really are. A lot of these agencies and stuff that Trump now seems like he's a PR team for. There's great people who work for them. I'm sure they do fantastic work. You know, they study racism, they study gun control, they study diseases. I'm sure there's good studies, bad studies, incompetent people, good. It's like any business. Any business you work for, everyone's not a winner. Some people are, some people aren't. So you can't fully blame the government. It's not their fault. I'm sure there's fantastic people who work for the CDC. But overall, it's a possibility. You know, there is incompetency there as well. And most importantly, we know that this virus can be asymptomatic, and most people, if you look at the mortality rate in people under 60 with no underlying conditions, it's ridiculously low. It's ridiculously low. So the death rate is ridiculously lower. Is this virus good? No virus particularly I don't think is very good. But is it as bad as they said? It's not. And, you know, if a lot of people get it and they have asymptomatic, they don't even know they have it, that's a good thing. That means that the confirmed case rate is 10, 15 times higher. That's what you're finding in New York and all these, you know, Florida's doing them, California's doing them. Way more people had it. It's not just your family member. A lot of people have had it and they didn't even know. That's how mild it was in them. They don't even know they had it. What a great virus that it does that to some people. I'm not saying it's great, but you get what I'm saying? There's certain situations that are not that fortunate for people. You know you have it because it's very painful. And this one works that way in people as well. But there's been way more people who've had it, and a lot of them didn't even know. Some people react badly. It probably has. There are reports now, too, that it's already mutated. Let's look at it. So there's different, it's like the flu. There's how many different mutations of there are the flu? We'll look it up, but let's see. COVID-19 mutations. Healthline.com says COVID-19 will mutate. What that means for vaccines. Science Daily says genetic network analysis provides snapshot that there's too many rapid mutations of COVID-19. It's already mutating. So, you know, they're going to have a tough time making a vaccine just like they do with the flu. Let's look up. How many mutations are there of the flu? Influenza A is a genetically labeled virus which mutates rates as high as 300 times that of other microbes. So it's 300 times as likely to mutate as other stuff. I mean, that's the it's tough to make a vaccine for something that you can't even pinpoint like that. So this idea that they're going to be able to do it, they don't even know how many mutations of COVID there are. They can roughly guess, but this stuff's so new, guys. It's a scientific fact that they're not sure it's going to work. If they were sure, and it was 100% sure, tested, approved, scientifically proven, it would be on the market tomorrow. But they can't do that for at least 6 months, 7 months, a year at best, and they're still rushing, which is not a good thing. It's like if you're cooking and you microwave it in 30 seconds. It's not, you know, yeah, it's done. Oh, look, the food's done. But, yeah, you microwaved it, and now it's all mushy, you know? It's the same thing. It's not like great to rush medicine. You're like, I'm done. It's the fastest one ever. It's like, that just means you tested it less. You know, it's not like a virtuous thing, but whatever. Someone said it's all speculation. Absolutely. And if they're allowed to deceive with statistics, we should be allowed to tell the truth. And once again, anybody, I would love to interview the Surgeon General, but I probably wouldn't be allowed to. They probably won't let me because you got to watch. I'm going to say this too. I like to give out compliments. Shout out to my ladies, my lovely ladies, Diamond and Silk. Got to give them a lot of credit. They interviewed the Surgeon General. They got that connection. You could tell they were not buying half of what he said, but they asked him some tough questions. And now they're interviewing Dr. Shiva, which is phenomenal. So make sure you watch the Diamond and Silk interview with Dr. Shiva. I'm not saying this is true. This is more rumors and reports. But it looks like, they used to post Diamond and Silk stuff on Fox Nation. They're not anymore. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it. But the fact that Diamond and Silk are not buying the nonsense, the fact that they're interviewing Dr. Shiva, and the fact that they're calling out Big Pharma, it might be bad for Diamond and Silk's, corporate network career. Because if you guys haven't realized yet from all the commercials, Big Pharma is a big funder of even Fox. I mean, look at the commercials. It's not like they don't have ads for pills and stuff. So if Diamond and Silk end up getting fired, I'm not saying they are, but if they end up suffering financially or career-wise because they're interviewing Dr. Shiva, I would not be surprised. And I appreciate them for when push comes to shove, you kind of look to see where people are at. And I want to give out compliments because I've also been critical here of other things. Candace Owens, who we've been friends at first, we've had minor differences, not a big deal, whatever. But I'm very impressed with what she's been saying. She's been very consistent. People might not want to hear it. She's been questioning it against the flu. But when she said a month ago that, she thought it was similar to the flu and everyone freaked out because they thought the death rate was 3.4, with the antibody test now, when it's all said and done, it might have the same mortality rate as the flu. So she's been very consistent, standing up for freedom. She knows what time it is. Diamond and Silk know what time it is. Laura Ingraham knows what time it is. So I appreciate the conservatives who aren't afraid to lose support or their job in order to stand up for freedom in America and against big pharma and medical tyranny. So I appreciate Diamond and Silk with the big platform they have, interviewed the Surgeon General, asked him some interesting questions, and now they're going to interview Dr. Shiva, which is a game changer because you're going to hear the truth from that guy. That guy goes hard in the paint. He doesn't care at all. And, he's got some alternative, interesting opinions that you could listen to, or actually, scientific opinions. And then you could compare them to what the Surgeon General says, to what the CDC says, and make a decision for yourself. Because when you're a health expert in this country, you misinformed people just less than a month ago, and you're saying misinformation is causing more harm than the virus. I mean, you lost pretty much all credibility with me, bro. But whatever. Someone said they want this country to stay divided. Speaking of which, I wanna look this up. Hold on. Amazon Diversity Workforce Division. Hold on. This is very, very interesting stuff. There's a recent report that came out. Amazon. I gotta go look at it real quick. There's this Amazon report that came out, and I gotta read this because this is wildly, wildly interesting. And it's very revealing about what they're doing to our country and the world. And I think people need to hear this because a lot of times they just say everything's racist, everything's sexist, and people just get all caught up in their skin color or, beliefs or whatever. So it's coming out now. I can't 100% confirm this, but it has been reported in a couple news sources. It says leaked Amazon Whole Food docs, workforce diversity helps prevent unions. This is in a few publications. It hasn't broken the mainstream yet, but that's why I want to say with caution, I don't like to mislead, but it says leaked Amazon Whole Food docs, workforce diversity helps prevent unions. So people are reporting that they promote workforce diversity because it helps people from uniting and creating a strong union. And, you can see that with the Young Turks as well. These are progressive thought leaders who always say, oh, we're all about diversity, we're all about progressivism. They don't, when push comes to shove, they never believe in what they claim to believe in. The two biggest hypocrisies of Young Turks are they believe in unions, but when it comes to their own workforce union, they're not even good to their own workers. And they were trying to deny that stuff, which was a total ridiculous farce. And also, the number one thing that the Young Turks say, who's the biggest progressive liberal news station on YouTube, they say that they're against money in politics. They say we need to get the money out of politics. Look up Wolfpack, WOLFPAC. They run their own PAC, Political Action Committee, to put money back into local elections and politics. So they say they're taking the money out of politics and they support unions. They don't even support their own union, and they themselves put money into politics. They're the biggest liars on the planet. Same with it looks like at this. Why would they promote diversity to prevent unions? You could look at that and think about it on the scale of America. What do they do in America? They let everybody organize in little racial groups. You know, you got the Jewish Union or whatever, the Jewish Coalition, APAC, and all this, or whatever it's called, ADL. And then you got the black, black this, that, and then you got Asian. When you have a group of people and nobody can actually agree on anything, that's why Trump, before all this nonsense, he was a powerful leader because he said, we're all American. He doesn't even care. He's like, you're gay, you're black. He literally doesn't care about race. He cares about America and Americans, or so he claimed. But that's why it's like when you have something everyone can unite under, that's how you have power. Sometimes they purposely push diversity, not because they love like Hispanics from Mexico and stuff. They love electoral power. Why do they want more people in the census? They get more money from the federal government, and then they get more House of Representative seats. They get more political power, more money, more power. It's driving a lot of the COVID-19 stuff as well. So on a whole scale, they're admitting, now it looks like in leaked documents, that they promote diversity to help people from organizing and preventing a union. And that happens in America as well. They love mixing up, stirring up the pot, not because they want a multicultural situation where they're like, it's not this utopia that they pitch you. They're like, we want every race to live happily ever after. No, they want to divide and conquer as much as possible. And they feel like if they have too many Christian conservatives who believe in like free speech and the Second Amendment, that's a major threat to what they're trying to do. They don't want people who believe in gun rights because they don't want a population that's armed. Regardless of your race or political affiliation, I think people are starting to wake up now thanks to COVID-19. I don't trust what's going on. It's looking better and better to believe in the Second Amendment. I think people of all kinds are starting to wake up to that, including liberals. But that's why they do what they do. Why do they support so much stuff? They're not looking at it like, oh, we love this race so much more than white people. That's just what they tell you because people eat it up because celebrities, media, they all say it in unison and people buy that crap. I did at a certain point too. I'm not saying I don't love everyone. What I'm saying is they're pretending like that's what they're trying to do. But in reality, they're trying to stop you from protesting, stop you from organizing in big numbers, and stop you from defending the two things that will prevent you from being a slave, which is the freedom to speak your mind, which we're now losing even under a Trump presidency, and the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. So there's a reason that they push all this stuff on a big scale. It's not to truly push diversity. They're trying to destabilize the country, and they're trying to make it in a way that no one can agree on anything. And you can see that now. Left wing, right wing, 50%, 50%. Right wing, all these little subgroups, 20%, 20%, 20%. Radical different ideas. This is happening. Martial law is good. Martial law is bad. The right wing is useless at this point. The left wing is useless at this point. And now you have all of these races organizing by race. That's nice. I have no problem with it. But you know which race can't organize by race? The majority race. Why do they not want the majority race in this country to organize? Are they trying to stop supremacists and nationalists? That's just what they tell you. They don't care. They don't care about that stuff. They care about stopping a big percentage of people being able to agree on something. So they let you have your little subsects because they realize it's only 2 or 5% of the population. They could tell you whatever they want, and they could say they're claiming they help people, but there's a reason people tune into my station from Africa, from Israel, from Palestine, from Mexico. No one cares about race, gender, or religion here. Real people understand real stuff. It's happening in South Africa. It's happening in Nigeria. There's a Muslim versus Christian battle. In India, it's happening. You have a Muslim versus Hindu, nationalist Hindu versus the Muslim and, the more liberal-minded politician stuff. What I'm saying is happening all over the world. So everything I say ages properly. Everybody of every race, religion, and gender gets what I'm saying. But what they say is, we love the Hispanics. No, you love votes. You love being able to boost up your census numbers so you can get more money and power. And it's the same thing with all this diversity stuff. They want to destabilize. They want to prevent any majority in this country from being able to organize under any presidents, because when people organize, that means not good for them when everybody realizes what they're doing. So take a lesson from what they did and realize that's exactly what they do in the entire planet. And that's why at this moment, when we don't realize this stuff, we have a Republican president in Donald Trump who's supposed to be this freedom fighter, economic, hero, and we have potentially one of the biggest economic collapses in modern history when it comes to jobs and businesses not being able to open, and we have virtually no freedom. Is it all Trump's fault? Am I blaming him for everything that happened? Absolutely not. But at the same time, this should be a wake-up call why we need to pay attention to this stuff and why everybody needs to get on the same page in some sense. We don't got to agree about unions and whatever. We'll get to that later, but we do have to agree on something big, because even with a freedom fighter president, we're facing worse than an Obama and a Bernie Sanders presidency. Let's be honest. I had someone say, listen, a week ago I was the biggest Trump supporter in the world. Today he just turned into a worse president than Obama. I'm not saying he's a worse person, but it is kind of true. I mean, Obama did a lot of weird stuff. Nothing on this level. This isn't Trump's fault. I'm not blaming him for what just happened, but we are living in this world. He is president, and at this moment, he still seems to not get it. He's still blaming, Georgia. There's three options. Either he's got a sneak attack, which is still not going to help a lot of businesses, so I'm not really that interested in it. Second thing is, he's been deceived. You know what I'm saying? He might be lied to. So that's why I use my platform to try to wake him up. I'm not a turncoat. People say, Anomaly's a turncoat. No, I want to wake him up. I'm trying to use my influence to be like, bro, wake up. Every week, every month that you wait, you're destroying millions of jobs, and it's really not having the health impact that Fauci and Bill Gates models from Washington told you it had. Or third, he might totally just be co-opted. He might be the swamp from the start. I'm not saying he is, but these are really the only options. There's only really three options. He has it all under control. He doesn't, he's being lied to, or he doesn't, and he's purposely not doing it. I don't think that's the case, but when I voice my opinion, it's more of a challenge. It's like bro, I can't sit here and pretend like this is normal. This is totally not normal, and Democrat governors don't have a plan to open up, guys. Georgia's trying to open up. Trump's fighting with them. California, Virginia, Michigan, New Jersey, these people are going to put this off for years based on no science or data whatsoever in slowing or stopping the spread. So Trump needs to start pressuring them and Bill Barr instead of doing the opposite. It's like either he's just willfully ignorant or he's purposely doing it, but he's retweeting the CDC. Now he's like a CDC PR team. Maybe he's got a sneak attack at the end, but I think my job and your job as a citizen, I don't want to play these weight games, just to be honest. Like, this is beyond anything I've ever seen. This is worse than a Bernie Sanders win, and I'm just saying what I want to say. Someone said they're trying to keep us locked down indefinitely. There's Democrat governors saying this is probably going to last like 2 years. They're already saying it. So if the president of the United States is not going to help us, we can help ourselves. Someone said, I think he's been lied to. I don't know if he can trust Pence or whatever. Something went wrong somewhere, and I think he looks at people and listens. And regardless of who Trump is or not, I think he's a populist and he listens to people. But even if he's not, Macron is a total puppet con artist. But guess what happens when you protest Macron? If everybody agrees, if he has a 10% approval rating, and the liberals and the far leftists and the far rightists and the middle conservative rightists, if they all agree that he's trash and they all get out in the streets and protest, that's what actually had an influence in France and in Germany. When they started putting crazy regulations and putting the farmers out of business, all the farmers got together and drove to the cities. So that's the beautiful thing. Regardless of if Trump's an amazing guy or if Trump is lied to or if he's told the truth, regardless of that, that's not our job as citizens. We got to look at reality and say, listen, maybe he's lied to, maybe he's lying to us, maybe he knows what he's doing. That's not our job. If businesses are going under, if he's being misled or he's wrong, I'm going to say it. I could really care less. And the crazy thing to me is, somebody said to me yesterday, I fear for your life, Anomaly. There's no prize for being a coward. Like, you got to understand, a year ago, everybody's always said that to me, but they say that to everybody. Like, Giuliani, Trump, anything in life is tough. Whether you're a stunt driver, a NASCAR driver, you play football, you drive in a car to work every day, everything's dangerous. It's more dangerous to drive in a car than it is to tell the truth. You're more likely to have somebody in your friend or family group get pissed off at you than you are. So there's risk in everything, whether it's playing professional sports or doing. People who've tried to instill fear on me, they're like, Anomaly, I'm really worried about you. You should be worried for yourself, bro. You're in the house. They got you on a slave order arrest, and you didn't even do anything wrong. So there's no prize in the end for being a coward. I'm not saying you have to do anything about it. People are like, what do we do? You don't have to do anything. Just don't try to make me feel bad about what I'm doing. It's not like, this is really good for everybody else, just me. It's like, no, there's no prize for being a coward. You could say nothing and be afraid to say something, and you're gonna end up in your house. They're not gonna let you out for like 2 years. So there's no prize. There's no like gift at the end. Like, you didn't say anything, you obeyed law, you obeyed the order, you get a free pass. In fact, I don't know, you could be atheist, you could be Muslim, you could be Jewish, doesn't matter to me, but there's a lot of Christians who follow me. If you look in the Bible, they put cowardice, being a coward, in the same, group as being a murderer. I don't think it's that bad, but he did at one point, whoever wrote those words, so, there's no prize. Someone said he's trying to save face, just my opinion. Who, Trump? I'm not playing mind reader games. Like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I don't care. People think he's going to do that. I thought it was cute. I'm like, maybe he will, maybe he won't. Now, it's not cute. I mean, what's going to happen if they shut down for a year? 1 week will put out most businesses. 1 month will put out even more businesses. 1 year? Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Based off of a virus that's 30 times less deadly than they originally reported, that's 10 to 15, if not 20 to 100 times more widespread than they said it would, that they're not even going to stop the spread. They're admitting that now. They just wanted to temporarily halt it. Guys, this is a manufactured deception every which way. I'm not saying it's a fake thing. It's a real thing that they lied about every step of the way to accomplish a goal that has nothing to do with health. And everybody needs to know it. Someone said, thank you for raising awareness. Trump is a businessman. I don't think he knows much about what's going on, or maybe he does, but overall, it is what it is. I think if 90% of his followers said, listen, bro, no, he'll be like, you know what, no. There's power on a wide scale. I'll give you an example too. When it comes to politics, who's got the money, who's got the power? I'll just tell you, I mean, some people will sugarcoat it. America has a lot of money and power. That's a fact. China has a lot of money and power. That's a fact. Israel has a lot of money and power. That's a fact. Saudi Arabia has a lot of money. That's a fact. UK has a lot of money or power with the whole Queen stuff. That's a fact. There's bankers that hide in Switzerland and stuff, whatever. But the point I'm getting to, you got United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, UK, China. They're the big players. There's other big players, but for the most part, that's really it. You got the UN, you got the Vatican, you got a bunch of secret sneaks all over the place, whatever. But they have power. So regardless of what Saudi Arabia does, regardless of what China does, regardless of what Israel does, regardless of what the UK does, do you notice Trump never gets that upset with them as president? It's because he can't get upset because they have so much power. You know what I'm saying? China has a lot of power, Israel has a lot of power, Saudi Arabia has a lot of power, America has a lot of power, UK has a lot of power. Their power comes in that form. We have power, but our power is in numbers. Our power is in, we run this country. That's why when the farmers in Germany and France, when all of the farmers get together and drive their tractors to Paris, that's a statement. Because regardless of how much power China has, or Saudi Arabia has, or Israel has, or the United States have, or politicians have, or UK has, or whoever has, without farmers, people don't eat. If people don't eat, it's going to get ugly for these elites. So that's our power. We can't play these games. What's Trump doing? Who cares? Our power relies on our ability to survive for ourselves. And if they're cutting off our ability to survive or to work or to live based on false models and false data, this is our strength. When the farmers, when the workers, when, every race, every religion, every gender says, listen, we might not celebrate Ramadan, I don't celebrate Passover, but, at the same time, this is in all of our best interest and, not budge another inch. That's when we win. So we don't have the money of big countries. We don't have the, economic or, foreign national power of other countries. What we do have is we are the backbone who runs this country and keeps it afloat. So that's why we can't play this game of like 10 million Trump supporters being like, maybe he has a plan for us in 5 months. It's not up to us. That's not our job. That's his job. He'll do his job. China does their job. We got to do our job. And you don't got to go crazy and like lick a telephone pole or block a car. I'm not suggesting that. But this idea that like so many people just think it's okay, or like, I know people know it's not okay. Someone says someone said UK is abusing their power. They took human rights. No one's talking about. Everybody abuses their power. It's not just UK, but yeah. Someone said Trump is a populist. If we speak in numbers, he will listen. And that's all I'm asking. With social media right now, you have to understand it's powerful. He looks at ratings. He loves being popular. He loves the fact that he's the most popular on Facebook, He likes being liked. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like being liked? That's human nature. So we have to tell him it's not cool. And I say it, people are like, you're a turncoat. I'm like, you're a turncoat. You don't understand how many people this is affecting. Like, this is not, we can't allow this to, if this virus was 40 times as deadly as they thought it, originally they said it was like 3.4, we could have a conversation about it. If hospitals were being overwhelmed across the country, we could have a conversation about it. We're witnessing the opposite. The death rate is 30 times lower than they originally reported at littlest in that range. Hospitals are actually laying people off. People can't get elective surgeries. Our entire fabric of society is being slit at every level. Amazon's growing, Walmart's growing, but everyone else's business is downsizing, losing jobs, losing salaries. This is the biggest redistribution of wealth in modern history. This is not cool. I don't care if it's Obama or Trump. So that's our job, to just say no. I'm not suggesting people go out. I'm not organizing a protest. I'm saying use your job from where, use your power from wherever you are. Don't just say it's cool. Say it's not cool, on social media. I'm not saying to run around in circles and stuff. They're arresting people for organizing protests, which is wildly anti-First Amendment, but I'm not even considering that because I don't even think, yeah, you could do certain things, but to me, that's even a short-term solution. But if he realizes a big part of his base is not going to vote for him or not going to support him as much, if he doesn't turn it around or consider what's going on, he'll figure it out. These people never stop lying. They never stop deceiving. They never stop because no one ever holds anyone accountable. That's why everybody wants Trump to drain the swamp. Why are people hallucinating these theories of what Trump's going to do in a month or two? I understand why. Maybe they're true, maybe they're not, but everyone wants it to happen because at the core of it, regardless of who you are, whether you love or hate Trump, whether you think that's happening or not, bad people and corrupt people need to be held accountable or else they'll never stop doing what they're doing wrong. If they're doing crimes that are 10,000 times worse what anybody ever does ever, but no one ever holds them accountable because they have too much money or power, they never stop. And that's kind of like every agency, every corporation. I'm not blaming everyone, but it's like there's always a slap on the wrist, a slap on the wrist. It's like they can taint tests. They can be wrong. They could lie on television, and everyone just cheers him on. Oh, he's such a good guy because Trump appointed him. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a liar, and people need to call him a liar. If everyone says, what a good guy he is. Wow, he's so cool because Trump and Pence appointed him. He's going to be like, yeah, I'm such a cool... No, he's not a cool guy. He's a liar, and everyone should say he's a liar, and he should have to apologize or stop lying. That's how that works if enough people stop lying. And we're like, we don't accept this. But right now, this is why I always say too, I'm on fire right now because I literally got fire or UV ray lights from the sun. I got the sunshine that they don't want you to get. So I'm literally energetic today. But this is why you guys, I'm not saying what to do, but like people should tune out of these like dual thinking like political analysts. Like you got these people who they're just talking China. Yeah, China messed up, but like that's not the full scoop. And then they're like, but Biden and what Biden's doing. Listen, Biden is a weird guy. I don't trust him. I'll never vote for him. He's highly suspect on 30 different accounts. I personally don't think he really talks very accurately. It's hard for him to even talk for 3 minutes. I'm not a Biden fan. But it's like we have 20,000 things going on. Trump's the president. No one's being held accountable. All of these people that he's supporting are lying to our faces. And you have all these bait and switch Republicans doing what they always do. Biden sucks. But we have to double task, and they don't double task. That's why they're always deceiving people. Yeah, they're telling you the truth in some ways, but we never get to the core of everything. Biden's not the big scoop right now. I don't want him to win, but it's like, do these people get to the core of health? Do these people tell you that the Surgeon General lied? Do these people point out the facts about the World Health? Most of them do none of that stuff. So it's a constant circus game of like, blame the left, blame the right. Oh, we're going to get George Soros one of these days. It's like, no, you're not. Because all these people you're following are just constantly running you in circles. It's like swatting a leaf and thinking you're going to knock down the tree. You pick off a leaf, it just grows a new one. You got Lindsey Graham saying he wishes Bill Gates was the head of the World Health Organization. How is that guy ever going to help you? But we already knew that. His foreign policy is suspect at best. But someone said we're being taught the consequence of our short attention span. Yeah, we all have short attention spans. I mean, I do too. I can't lie. But overall, I'm just watching this stuff and I'm like, man, we got it. Someone said Congress needs a reset. I mean, it's crazy that they're getting paid too. No one else could get paid. The type of stuff I'm hearing too, and I just keep fighting through this stuff. I don't really care. But like, I got Trump supporters calling me a turncoat, and their logic is like, I'm like, what? I'm like, but what about all these businesses going under and people on unemployment? She's like, yeah, but at least they're getting money. So now Trump supporters just went from being capitalist, we have the best economy, to shaming me for wanting people to work because she thinks it's totally okay that tens of millions of people are unemployed because they're getting a paycheck. So now she just turned into a Bernie Sanders, communist overnight and saying, oh, they're getting paychecks. It's fine. I'm like, that's not ideal. I don't want everyone to be sitting in their house collecting a government paycheck, and neither do you. And then I say that it's like they're like delusional. It's like, you can like Trump, you could believe in him, have faith in him, but if your logic is, it's totally okay, like shut up about unemployment because everyone's getting a government check, like that's weird. It's like weirdo vibes, and then they're just totally fine with it all. They're like, it's okay. I'm like, I don't think this is really a long-term solution, but I mean, it's okay. Like, I'm not crying about it. I'm not devastated. And then they say, anomalies, such a doomer and a gloomer. Maybe it seems that way on Twitter because my voice isn't there. We're having the best time we could possibly have right here. Like, nobody's crying. We have a fantastic time. We're optimistic. We don't doom and gloom. It's just like, to me, it's more fun to just say this stuff than it is to like lie to myself, but whatever. Someone said we need to get people back to work. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just can't fathom what they think they're going to do in these cities. And I do want to say this too, while I can still say it. If you look at the technology behind the internet that they're establishing, I'm not even going to get into the health aspects of it. You can listen to other people. I'm not a health expert. I'm not here to start a theory that I can't prove about the health aspects of the internet they're putting in. But what I can tell you is about technology in general. Neuralink is a real company. Elon Musk owns it. He's talking about putting like computer brains or linking human brains with computers. That's a fact. You look at the technology, the letter number technology that they don't want you to talk about. I'm not even going to talk about the health aspects of it. But when you talk about the control aspects of it, when it merges with the technology that we already have, it is a control system. Health aspects aside, it's a total control system. So it's a little bit odd that President Trump signing a broadband letter number act to go enforce that all over the country and put it all over the place. He's bragging about it on television. He's like, we're going to give the farmers internet connection. What do you think he means? He's establishing that internet technology all over the country. I'm personally, health aspects aside, I'm not convinced that this isn't like a communist China style, just complete takeover of the country. That's how I feel. They established that type of internet. What do you think they're going to do with that internet and all that technology? It's the same thing as when, 10 years ago, you're like, they would never do that. Now what happens if you run some lights? They have a camera there. They'll take a picture of your license plate and send you a thing in the mail. We already have a system like that. It's not even like crazy to think about. So this seems like the full takeover. Maybe they're just stalling to do all this stuff. It's a theory, absolutely. I'm not claiming I know it, but the more you look at all this stuff, it looks like it's all happening, and it looks like Trump's really not our guy. And I'm not saying he's not, but I'm wildly unimpressed with like everything he's done over the past couple days. 2 weeks ago, he was crushing it, and then he turned on a dime, and then, ever since it's been weird. So I'm not... Someone said, why are they still... Yeah, you guys got it. Someone said they want to start schooling next year already. Yeah, on one hand, they say you have to homeschool your kids because, or you have to send your kids to government school at the home. And then they're writing articles in Harvard saying you shouldn't homeschool your kid. These people are like psychos. They're like, you have to stay in... Harvard says you have to stay home till 2022, but then Harvard also says homeschooling's dangerous. Like, you can't go to school, but homeschooling your own kids is dangerous. These people are bona fide psychopaths. I mean, I don't really care. But this seems like a total takeover. I mean, how could it not? And it's going to be up to the people. Like, it really is. Someone said, you're always doing a great job. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate it. God bless you, brother. Someone said, my daughter received unemployment one time, $146 after losing 2 jobs and hasn't received any more. I'm trying to tell some Trump supporters on Twitter this, like, everyone's getting paid. I'm like, first of all, most people are making 1/3 of what they made, if that. Other people are getting $1,200 for 10 weeks. Some people are getting nothing. Some people are losing everything and aren't getting the loan. Some people are, but the amount of people losing money and jobs is astronomical. And there is not even a government check. Even if there was, who cares? I'm not trying to be a government, lard for the rest of my life and just sit here and collect paychecks. And no one else, people want to go back to work. So Trump supporters need to wake the F up. I pretty much lost hope in the liberals. I mean, no offense, but they've been useless for the last 3 years. So if they listen, God bless you. I don't know what the heck you guys are talking. They're like, Trump said inject Lysol. It's like, he never said that. Listen to the full clip. He's talking about UV rays, and he's talking about scientific disinfectants that they're studying. Disinfectant can mean one of 50 things. He's questioning if there's a possible, use of that, of one of them. I don't even know. He was unclear, but it's like, he said bleach, Lysol. He's talking about Windex. It's like, what are you talking? I don't even talk to these people anymore because it's like, what's the point? But to the people who are actually awake, whether you're progressive and, you're in the middle, you feel like everyone's a liar, it's true. Whether you lean liberal, you're holistic and you don't really care about politics, whether you're like a bona fide Trump supporter, I don't care. I'm talking to everyone. I'm just saying there's a certain sect of politics I've totally lost hope in because they're like delusional. But whoever listens to me, and if you can handle what I'm saying now, you're having a blast, and so am I. But people got to wake up, man. I can't take these Trump supporters that are like, no, it's okay, everyone's getting a paycheck. Not everyone's getting a paycheck. And the people that are don't want to sit there and get a paycheck. People are getting fired. People aren't getting paid. Like the jumping jacks people do to support this guy, it really makes you think. And here's what I've been saying too, is I'm not starting theories, but in France, where they messed up before this, is Macron was not popular among liberals, was not popular among progressives, was not popular among Republicans or conservatives, whatever you call them. So he had a minuscule approval rating that was like astronomically low, and the whole country revolted against him. In a weird way, Trump has stopped the revolution. If Hillary Clinton would, you would have had Bernie Sanders supporters, Donald Trump supporters, independents. Hillary Clinton would have had an astronomically low unapproval rating. She would have had the left and the right populace uniting and really upset. But Trump quelled the revolution because you got all the gun owners, you got all the Second Amendment and First Amendment fanatics, the libertarians, the new wave progressives who just realized Bernie Sanders was a liar, independents, millions of new Republicans now because of Trump. He stopped the revolution, which is great because we thought he was the revolution. But at this point, it doesn't look like it. So, in a weird way, this could not be good. I'm not saying he's not good, but it's like, is he going to be the revolution, or is he just going to be the status quo, like, face guy for the agenda that they've been pushing that we have all known it? So someone said, I'm a Trump supporter, but I don't believe in this. And you shouldn't. And I think Trump is pragmatic. I think so. I still have faith. I'm not going to say he's a total liar or anything, but I want to see his supporters be like, listen, I like you. I just don't believe in this because I don't want to believe that Trump isn't a good guy, but I've seen him do other sneaky things before, but it's politics. How could you not be? They have 1,000-page bills that they put on your desk and you're supposed to sign in like 10 minutes. How can you read 1,000 pages in like an hour? You can't. So it's not his fault. What I'm saying, the system's corrupt. But at this point, regardless of how much you support him, it's not like he just made a decision. He tweeted about Iran or something. Like, I'm not like a fair weather fan where I'm like, oh my God, Trump did that. Even he did the $1 trillion spending bill in December. That was whack, but you didn't see me jump off the bandwagon. I just said that was a little whack and sneaky, but whatever. This is bigger than that. This is like worse than Obama's presidency. I'm not blaming Trump for it, but dude, this is terrible. Imagine if Barack Obama did this. Imagine if George Bush did this. This is worse than anything. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in modern American history in regards to economics, in regards to freedom. This is the biggest power grab in my entire life. And Trump's the president, so it is what it is. Someone said I made 1,000 shares. Someone said, former leftist, not quite right. I love your show. Yeah, it's good to not like emotionally jump into the right wing, so you seem smart. There's a lot of people that were liberal, and I'm going to say this too. I'm going to just keep it real. I got a lot of friends. There's a lot of people who do a lot of great stuff, a lot of free thinkers. There's a lot of diversity. But there are a lot of people who start liberal, and they were liberal a couple years ago. You know, even I wasn't liberal, but I thought Bernie Sanders was going to be like a Ron Paul type situation. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. Anyway, the point is, there's people who go left and then go right, and I think that's great. But then they become like a total liar, you know, where they're not really authentic people. So like that guy's like, listen, I was left and I'm not quite right. That's probably where you want to be. Because the people that are left wing and then they fly right wing and they're the biggest Republicans, they start becoming liars. They start selling out free speech. They have their pom-poms on. They ignore trillion-dollar bills. All they want to do is get invited to the White House. All they want to do is be on Fox News. All they want to do is speak at CPAC. So they become total con artists and liars. And then no one knows what's going on. It tends to be those people that dive right into the Republican Party and start waving Trump flags. They seem like the most deceptive ones, personally, and I don't trust them. But I'm not saying everybody. Some people are like diehard Trump supporters, but they know what's going on too. And they're like, listen, I love the guy. I'll support him. I'll wave the flag. But I don't want to shut down my business for a year. I mean, this is ridiculous. But I find a lot of those analysts that are like, I'm the biggest Republican ever, even though I voted for Hillary. It's like, are you calling out the trillion-dollar spending bills? Are you calling out the free speech stuff? Are you willing to question the president when, you know, the economy's tanking? Not a lot of people. There's something about like playing a game. I've always been too rebellious. I don't mean to be mean, but like if something's not right, it's not right. I could be at a corporation. I'm at a company. You know, I have a good salary. This is a true story. I worked for an advertising agency that had I'm not going to say, they had some big league contracts and stuff, you know. So I'm there. I'm making a decent salary. It's not great, but it's okay. I'm there, and everybody's lying. Everybody's stealing my work. Nobody's listening to me. I'm like really good at social media. They all suck. Literally, my page now is bigger than everything they were doing. I was trying to help them. They wouldn't listen to me. I quit. And everyone was like blown away. They were like, but this is so good. Don't you want to suck this person, you know, off until you get to this position and this? Like, I'm like, no, you're all liars. I'm leaving. I literally basically said that like to the boss or to the HR guy. And he's like, is there anything we can do? Can we pay you more? I was like, no, because you guys are all terrible people. Like, that's always the person I've been. I'll just tell people. I'm like, I don't want to work here. I didn't even give my 2 weeks. I'm like, you don't even have to pay me. I'll go get money somewhere else. They're like, you don't want the money? You don't want this job? No, you guys are all sneaks. You're all liars. You're taking millions of dollars from these, you know, agencies, doing absolutely nothing. You have no strategy. You're stealing my work. You guys are all backstabbing, conniving, like sneaks, you know? Everybody's a disingenuous. I don't care. I don't have the time to be like, maybe one day I'll be the grand manager and I'll be the big liar. I can be the gatekeeper liar that makes $150K a year, and then I can lie and steal everyone's work. I was like, you guys are all terrible. This is the worst. This is the worst place ever. I'm out. Can we pay you more? No, I don't want your money. I'd rather be homeless than live here. That's how much I hate you people. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. That's pretty much what I think of you guys now. I didn't for word say that, but pretty close. Pretty close. I really don't care. Someone said it's not Trump that wants to keep shut down, it's the Democrats. It's not just the Democrats. The swamp goes beyond what you thought it went in. It's more than even just Democrats, but it is a lot of Democrats. They're guiding his policy. His health experts, guys, it's all a co-opted little circle. So it's not just like Democratic governors. Trump is following a fake phase program, fake models, fake data. He's got the fake Surgeon General. Democrats didn't appoint the Surgeon General. Trump appointed the Surgeon General because he was Pence's guy. They're not trustworthy people. I don't care. I'm going to read this. This looks like a good question. Debbie says, because of Trump, I woke up, but we have to be able to question the things he does that goes against our country and our rights. I really can't stand what he's supporting right now and who he's listening to. That's it. You got it. That's the blueprint. That's all it's got to be. Because it's beyond like, oh, Trump just made a bad decision. It's like the entire country is shut down. I feel like a slave. Like, I'm like, I want to go out today. Like, what can I do? I can walk in a pizzeria with a mask on and like act like I'm allergic to everybody else and walk out. I can't go to the park. I can't play tennis. I can't play basketball. I can't do anything. It's like I can't go to the spa. There's nothing I could do. It's like I'm living in like Orwellian slave world. It's like it's beyond the point of me being like, oh, well, let's see what he does. I see what he's doing. It's awful. It's all based on fake data, fake death rates, and now that we know you can get it multiple times, you can't hide from this thing. Herd immunity is a thing that exists in science, and if everybody has it, more people have it, it's eventually not going to hit us hard. Or it is going to hit us hard, and there's nothing we could do about it. I don't know. I don't want to live like a slave for the rest of my life, guys. I don't want to live for a slave like for 2 years. I mean, what happens? You're born, you go to school, maybe you go to college, maybe you go to work, maybe you do neither and you're a bum in your parents' basement for a few years, whatever. Then you get a job, then maybe you have kids, maybe you don't. But everybody grows older and dies. That's literally what happens. I'm 30 right now. You know, I'm going to be 40, and then I'm hopefully, I mean, you know, we'll see. Nothing's guaranteed. Then you're 50, then you're 60, and if you're lucky, you're 70, 80, 90, and that's just what happens. You don't live forever unless you want to talk about the afterlife. That's what happens in this world. So if you're going to shut down for 2 years, 5 years, take away a good portion of somebody's life, it's like throwing them in jail. It's like, F this crap. Someone said, I can't walk alone in the state forest. It's ridiculous. They have no cases in Hawaii, barely any cases, and you're getting fines for going out in the sunlight when we know the sunlight's good. I don't care if Bernie Sanders' grandson, who's a little midget, who's like, progressivism. I don't care if he's president in 2039 and he does this. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care who it is. This sucks. I don't agree with it. I'm not going to pretend like I agree with it. No one cares anymore. It's like, who's still lying on behalf of? I know there's a lot of people, I just complimented them, are stepping up. It's like no one's going to invite you to CPAC. You're never going to be the big conservative star because you're never going to go to an event again if you don't wake the F up. There is no CPAC that next year. It's probably going to be canceled because you can't do anything till 2030. It's like, maybe one day they'll invite me and I'll be the big boy who's the new gatekeeper. It's like there is none of that. It's all canceled until further notice. So let's, you know. There's no reason to not say anything. Someone said Virginia health officials said 2 years. There's no science. There's no data. There's nothing that has to do with anything. Not the vaccine, not the herd immunity, not the death rate, not the spread, not the World Health Organization information that they're saying. None of that equates to we need to shut down for 2 years. What's the theory behind shutting? They don't have a theory, guys. Their theory is to inject a product into you that isn't even created yet and make you live like a slave. F these people, guys. I'm so tired of them. I don't care who's doing it. And I know Trump is not the governor of Virginia, but who is Trump complimenting? He's complimenting Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom's, patting him on the back or whatever. Who's he not complimenting? The governor of Georgia. He's getting upset with the people who are doing the right thing, and he's supporting the wrong people. He's like a PR team for the health industry now. And it's like, listen, there's great people there that do fantastic things. I'm sure the FDA, the CDC, I'm sure they have wonderful employees. And then they have some that are not so wonderful. And to be honest, overall, I'm not fanatically impressed with how they operate. Just to be honest, I want the freedom. I don't care what the CDC or the FDA does. Honestly, I get it. But let me out of my house. If I become a slave, now I start caring. You want to tell the truth sometimes, you want to do this sometimes, whatever, that's fine. But if I can't even go to a park, now it becomes a problem. Now I'm a little annoyed. It's like, I'm used to the deception, but like, can I go somewhere or do I have to stay like this for 2 years? What science is, they have no science for that, guys. I'm going to read this. Andy, I might fly to Georgia soon. I'm going to read this. Andy said, I enjoyed my deep tissue massage today. Hold on. Andy, you're on the air. He said, I enjoyed my deep tissue massage in Georgia today, and now we're going to the park, enjoy the sunshine. Thank you, Governor. Can't be the light. Listen, I might fly to Georgia next week. I'm not even kidding. So I want to support everybody who's making the right moves. I might fly to Georgia, stay at a hotel, maybe a bed and breakfast. I don't know. Maybe I'll have an ocean view. And I'm just gonna go around to every. I'm gonna be like Robin Hood. I'm gonna take all my star money and just give it to local businesses. Oh, you're open? Here, I'll buy a sub. Oh, you're a waiter? I bet you had a hard time. Here's a $10 tip. Oh, you're giving out massages? Here's a $30 tip. Enjoy. Oh, you're open? Oh, I bet the hospitality industry hasn't been good here. Here, take a $50 bill. Go have some fun with it. I'm going to be like Robin Hood. I'm going to take a few $1,000 and just start throwing it out to everybody in Georgia. And you think I'm kidding. I'm not. I might be headed to Georgia next week. I'll take a $10 flight, stay there for a week, give thousands of dollars to people in Georgia, and then, maybe, and then I'll come home. I'm tired of this stuff. So congratulations for living in Georgia. Someone says, Soros and company, are they the ones pulling the strings? It's not always Soros, guys. Listen, first of all, I have to say it for the censors. Listen, any mention of George Soros is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, and you need to go directly to CNN or PolitiFact, and they'll tell you what to think about George Soros. But is this a George Soros thing? I mean, he's kind of like a Bill Gates type guy. Thank God Bill Gates isn't Jewish, because then they'd say Bill Gates is anti-Semitic. Now they say it's just mean, but luckily he's not, so they just say it's like a mean thing to say or whatever. But anyway, I mean, George Soros is a guy who's invested in a lot of things. He's usually involved in a lot of stuff, but is this like specifically his fault? Probably not. He's probably, he's all over the place, funding all sorts of stuff. But I wouldn't specifically blame him for this. I think Bill Gates is heavily involved in this stuff, probably more than George Soros. But I think this is one time where you could probably not fully blame him and feel okay about it. But I don't know. You can do whatever you want. I don't know. I read the thing that he was involved in the lab. I just can't fully confirm that. I've taken the month off. I'm like, what? I'm going to give George Soros a break. I'm going to give Georgia a break this month. We're just going to have a good time. Someone said, you can come to Illinois with your money. Jeff said, someone messaged me, said, stop the negativity and stop creating panic. No one's creating panic. We're having like a fabulous time. I'm literally talking about going to Georgia and like getting a massage or going to like a sub shop. And someone's like, stop spreading negativity. I'm like, this could not possibly be less negative. I had the sunlight today. I ate an olive with a garlic in it. I'm drinking water. I'm going to go to, like, there's no negativity here. There's literally could not possibly be less panic. On a scale of 1 to 10, there's no panic. I'm just saying, I don't agree with it. It's not going to work for 2 years. Anomaly, stop spreading panic. It's okay. They're going to shut down for 2 years and it's totally not going to have a negative effect. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't. Someone said, do you trust Bill Gates? Do I trust Bill Gates? No. Someone said, don't give George a break. I'm just joking. I'm just saying I'm not really focused on him right now. But someone else, I'm sure there's other video that someone else is. I'm just saying. Anomaly, stop spreading panic. Stop telling people to drink water and get sunlight sometime. I'm like, I'm not. There's literally could not possibly be less panic. Yeah, everyone else is like freaking out. And then people freak out at me for saying something. They're like, no, Anomaly, Trump has this all under control. He's purposely sacrificing the workforce so everyone can get unemployment because that's what he's going to do. And I'm like, that sounds terrible. I don't think that's what he's doing, but whatever. Someone said, I'm ready to take a vacation in Georgia. Literally, I think that would be awesome. I could document it too and just like, I'm not even kidding. I'll take a few thousand out and just start handing it out to people. That's setting the precedent. Be like, listen, their economy, I want their economy to boom. Someone said olive stuff with garlic is awesome. Listen, I'm not a health expert. I have to say this, but as a citizen of this great country, I think garlic is healthy for you, and I think the best way to get garlic, it don't taste any better than being slapped in the middle of an olive. They're a little bit expensive. They're like $4 or $5 at the store. They probably jacked them up because of the coronavirus, but listen, olive, garlic in it, healthy, tasty. That's all I've eaten today. I had a coffee and like 5 or 6 pieces of olives with garlic in it. Sounds disgusting, but I enjoy it. Have you been watching the gold prices? Here, let me see this. Have you been watching the gold prices, and do you know anything about Trump taking the U.S. dollar back to gold standard? I've heard the theory, but I think personally I think it's wildly unlikely that they go back to the gold standard. That's definitely a theory, but I don't see any evidence of that. So I mean, we took out $5 trillion more in loans. I don't know. They would have to. I don't even know that they have enough gold in the reserves right now. I believe they don't. So are they going to buy it from somewhere else and then put it back in the reserves? I don't think so, but I know some people think that. It could be true, but I think a lot of people, there's like this sect of Trump supporters that plays this game where they try to, instead of like reporting things accurately, they try to like find something in everything to like make up a theory that sounds good. which is fine because there is a lot of good stuff going on. But like when tens of millions of people lose their job, it gets a little weird. People are like, no, no, no. Trump's purposely sacrificing half the nation. He's destroying businesses. He's putting people on unemployment. He's crushing the health of people who aren't allowed to get outside their house. He's doing that to go back to gold standard because he's secretly going to take these people down soon. I think he really might actually charge some people possibly, but everything is not. I don't think that's true. But I don't know. It could be. I just think there's certain people, like no matter what happens, you think I'm exaggerating? I'm really not. It's not everybody, but Trump keeps touting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and there's people who are trying to say he's promoting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because he secretly doesn't want people to get the flu vaccine. And I'm like, is there something that these people won't lie about? It's okay to like Trump. It's okay to feel that way, but they play this game of like everything that happens, they're trying to find like a, like Trump sold out the First Amendment because he's secretly saving the First Amendment. It's like, that's not happening, but it's okay. Someone said you can never go back to the gold standard. Yeah, I think it's wildly unlikely that we go back to the gold standard. But I have heard that theory. There's dual theories. You talk to financial people, they think it's not good. But there's some people who found a Yahoo News article that said one line, and they're speculating that Trump is like destroying the Federal Reserve. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not, but I can't really tell you. Someone said Trump is not making these calls. Just wait till the election. I want to get this across. I know Trump is not making these calls. That's why I'm talking to him, because he's letting bad actors run the show. And you have to understand, saying wait till the election, you gotta think. Listen, tens of millions of people are out of work. They can't wait that long, guys. This country cannot intake this much devastation till November. And also, the more this goes on, guys, the bigger chance Trump doesn't win happens. Not only because his economy was the #1 voting tool. It doesn't exist anymore. It's going to cost him some votes. Freedom was a big thing that people looked for Trump. He's not really protecting it that well, so it's going to lose him some votes. He's going to gain some votes too because he's hilarious and people realize he's kind of cooler than Biden. But overall, mail-in ballots is going to devastate his chances. So the longer this happens, the less likely he's going to win on multiple factions. So in some ways, it's helped him with TV time. But if there's mail-in ballots and they extend like the Democrats are until, January, February, March, he's not going to win. So it's not this waiting game. Like, guys, just wait and just be a slave till November, because then maybe he'll win, maybe he won't. It's like, that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. Because if you wait till November, he's not going to win. And I don't think it's because he's not going to get as many votes in a fair election. I don't think this is going to be a fair election, and I don't think they want it to be. So I don't understand this theory of like, tell a family that just lost their job and got $1,200 or maybe more, maybe less, to compensate for tens of thousands of dollars that they're going to lose over the next 6 months. Tell them to wait till November, because then maybe Trump will win. Like, what does that even mean? I don't understand. Someone said Missouri opens May 4th. Maybe I'll just go on a tour, a U.S. tour of like everywhere that's not, enslaving their own people. That would be fun. Someone said Trump is not winning if they allow mail-in voting. I'm telling you, absolutely. That's absolutely a strategy. So if you want to wait till November, then wait for President Biden, because that's what's going to happen if everybody just allows this to happen till November. Not a good play. Someone said that's why Dems want absentee voting. For sure. Someone said I'm giving it a month till the country's back open. It's got to be open like tomorrow. The science behind the slowing of the spread was to stop hospitals from being overwhelmed. It wasn't they can't stop the spread forever, and they're not claiming to. No one's even saying that. So what's the reasoning to wait longer? They don't really make it clear. No one asks them real questions. It's a circus. Trump, did you say to inject Lysol? No, I never said that. Trump, what about this? What about the racism? Like, it's all a circus. Someone said, who else is there to vote for? No one else has a great economy response. Well, no, I'm not saying people are going to vote for Joe Biden, but you have to understand, in a booming economy, booming 401ks, somewhat booming freedom, that's a lot different than going into an election with a tanking economy, tens of millions of people out of work, a lot of people upset with Trump's response to this. There's absolutely going to be a correlation. Maybe he'll gain more voters because he's on television more. Maybe, it all plays an equation. I think he still is a heavy favorite against Biden. But if you factor in him not opening up soon and mail-in ballots, I don't think he's a favorite anymore. You know, I think he's an underdog. If they don't make sure this election voting, he's not a favorite. And I think he knows that, and he keeps talking about it. So I don't know. I'm not going to just wait to see if he loses because they're going to mail in as many as possible. I'm going to read this. Amanda said, I live in Denver. I'm 29 weeks pregnant. Well, congratulations. Not sarcastically, literally, congratulations on your baby. I just want to say that because sometimes I sound sarcastic when I'm not being. Haven't been to the grocery store since March 17th. I'm hating life. We need to open. They keep changing the date to opening up. It's driving me crazy. I feel you, Amanda. Don't hate life. You know, life is beautiful, and life for your new baby is going to be beautiful as well. Have as much fun as you can, but I feel you. I mean, they're having a massive effect on people's mental health, physical health. I mean, what they're doing is totally not right. People don't want to wait till November till the election. No, sounds terrible. Someone said I went to the hospital in my city and the hospital was empty. Yeah, they're experiencing massive underwhelming of hospitals. And I have to get this point across. I keep saying it every day, but it's the most important part. The logic behind slowing the spread was never to stop the spread. They don't think they could stop it. They don't think they could even really lower it over time. They just thought they could temporarily halt it to stop hospitals from being overwhelmed. We overcompensated. We're sending ventilators to other countries, and now hospitals are laying off workers and furloughing workers and cutting their salaries because there's no service because they cancel elective surgeries. What I just said right there is what every reporter should be asking. It's what everybody should be talking to virologists and doctors and explaining that. No one's doing it. They just keep moving the goalposts and people keep believing them. So absolutely hospitals are empty. Absolutely they overcompensated. The strategy is a fail. I don't care if it came from Bill Gates, the CDC, the Surgeon General, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, or Ronald McDonald. I don't really care who's running the show right now. Trump, Biden, doesn't matter. It's a fail. I know who the president is. I would like some leadership in him. That isn't opposite day. You know, I'm not playing, well, Trump's saying the wrong thing and, you know, making millions of people stay in their houses and not be able to go anywhere because he secretly wants to help you. Guys, this game was cute like 6 months ago. Right now, it's really not cute anymore. There's no panic. I'm just saying it's really getting weird. They're like, no, Trump destroyed your job because he wants to rebuild your job. It's like, no, that's not what he's doing. He's following liars and becoming one, honestly. So and this is kind of a little annoying me too. I'm going to read this real quick, Natalie. Tons of hospitals are empty, says Natalie. Nurses and doctors are getting laid off. What a way to thank those heroes. And not only that, I'm just being honest. Then what is Trump tweeting on Twitter? He's like, we're flying our planes to show thanks for the doctors. Trump, no one cares about your little military planes flying. They're laying off workers. So as you're laying off tens of thousands of nurses because you won't open up or you won't tell, you know, states to open up or they won't open up, whatever, you're flying. You're like, thank you so much for your work. You're laying off more workers than you're helping, bro. No one wants to look at the nice airplane parade when they don't have a job, bro. He's so backwards right now. He's like, we're sending ventilators to Ethiopia. That's awesome. That means our hospitals are not overwhelmed. That means we have enough equipment in excess. Open the freaking country up. Stop lying. I don't care that it's Trump. Stop lying. So it's that hospitals make money every COVID patient. Yeah, it's probably the bureaucrats and it's probably the administrative who's sucking up the money. It's probably not the frontline workers, just like everywhere. Someone said, I'm reading the Q threads. People are leaving and calling BS. You can believe that there's bad people on this planet. You should. There are. You should watch the documentaries. You should do the research. You should do all that. You could like Trump. You could believe in the Durham report. But these people have to drop this concept of like laying tens of millions of people off of work is awesome and being a slave till November is like a secret strategy. It's really weird. You got it. So if people are leaving that mindset, thank God. If people can double task and be like, I believe in this stuff, I have faith, but this isn't cool, but they can't seem to do that. They're like, this is all great. This is really a good idea. It's like, no, it's really not. And it's really weird that you think it is. It's like, they keep moving the goalposts too. They're like, it's the Vatican in Italy. We're starting a war on them. It's like, I know you want that to happen. I understand that that's what you want to happen. But just because you want it to happen doesn't mean it's secretly, covertly happening every time it's not really happening. They've been making up stories for 5 years because they want something to happen. I want it to happen. I hope it does happen. I hope the Durham report holds people accountable. But just because I want it to happen doesn't mean I sit here every day and just make crap up all the time. Like, I want, I want a mansion with a hot tub and a sauna built inside. But I'm not going to say, there's a secret hot tub and sauna built for me in Colorado that's waiting for me to go there, that's free, that was funded by the FDA, the white hats in the federal government built it for me, so I have it any moment. Don't worry about being homeless. We have a sauna built for us in Colorado. Like, I don't do that because it doesn't make sense. You get what I'm saying? I want it to be true. Doesn't mean it's true. These people, thank God they're finally like waking up. I've never had a problem with the message board posts. It's all real. There's corruption. Good things might happen. There's good people in the government. It's all true. But that doesn't mean that every day there's some fanatical thing. They're like, Trump's tanking the economy because he's secretly saving the economy. He's promoting the product because he doesn't want people to take the product. And it gets like 10,000 retweets. It's like, bro, these people are ridiculous. I was going to say the other R word. These people are really weird. Someone says an infectious disease. I'm going to read something. I'm going to read that, Kyle. Sorry, there's so many comments. I'm freaking out. And then I got to go. Kyle said, Kyle, you're on air. We got to pretend like it's a radio station. He said, are the governors or the president more responsible for opening up the states? This is my thought. I mean, everybody could have their own. But first of all, I'm not saying this situation was Trump's fault. It's a lose-lose. They put him in a pickle very, very hard. From the beginning, this isn't Trump's fault. However, Trump is the president. Trump has a policy. He doesn't have to do certain things. So are the governors going to listen to him? They're not going to listen to him. But what Trump is doing is his plan is tyrannical. His plan is a bad plan. People don't have to listen to it. Georgia's not listening to his plan because it's not a good plan. But guess what Trump's doing? He's then shaming Georgia and complimenting tyrants. So is it Trump's responsibility when they open or close? No, but he is the president and the leader, and his plan sucks. Kemp is smart. Trump is mad at him, and he's complimenting the Democrats. So I think it's Trump's responsibility to maybe not do that. But it's both combined. But his leadership, to me, it does like. Is he secretly saying that to say that? And then like people can make up theories all the time. They're like, no, he's trying to please the media. Like they hate him. They're never going to like him. He's trying to play the middle ground so he doesn't look responsible. Guys, Trump could cure the entire world of disease and they would say he killed the entire world. Doesn't matter what he does, they're going to lie. Whether 1 people die, 2 people died, 5 people die, no one dies ever again. Everybody lives forever. Then they're going to say Trump's a tyrant and he doesn't want people to go to heaven. They'll never stop lying. So there's no theory of like he's doing it to please them. They don't care. Why would he do that? Trump saves every life on America, stopping people from going to heaven. Trump doesn't want Christians to go to heaven. They will never stop, guys. They're literally like demonic. They have like evil spirits in them. And I'm not saying for sure. That's not scientifically proven. But I'm just saying these people, they're like, something's wrong with them. Maybe they're mentally ill. Maybe they're just liars. Maybe they believe themselves. Maybe something happened when they were young or something. I don't know what's wrong with these people, but they're like demonic in my eyes. They just won't stop lying. Trump saved every life on the planet, which means he doesn't want people to get to the golden gates of heaven. Back to you, Anderson. Well, it looks like Trump has saved every life on the planet. It is true. But that means if technically you never die, then you never go to heaven. And that seems to be concerning for many Christian voters in the conservative base. Now they don't want to vote for Trump because they've been wanting to go to heaven for a while, and it seems like he's playing the role of the Satanist. He might be the Antichrist. Back to you, Chris. And Chris is like, I've been in my basement for 5 years, and Trump's a devil. They're never going to stop lying. It doesn't matter what he does. So people, the fact that people think he's doing this to please them is just weird. Kyle said, thank you. You make a lot of sense. The governor of Washington still isn't clear on when we're going to open. Guys, this is why Trump needs to stop being like, oh, Georgia bad, California good. Bro, California, New Jersey, Washington, Colorado, they don't have a plan to open. They want to do this for years. So anomalies causing panic. We're not panicking. I'm having a fine time. We're having fun, actually. This is like the most fun we have. Besides, like, probably more fun stuff you do. The one guy from Georgia is like living the life. He's like, I got a massage. I'm out in the park. It's like, all right, bro, relax. Don't rub it in. You know, we got a lot of people on house arrest here. And he's like, listen, I just had 5 massages, went on a park. I got a family. It's like, all right, bro, let's not brag too much. No, I'm just kidding. That was awesome. But, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're fine. We're not panicking. It's just like, this isn't cool. Someone said Kemp is also a big rhino, just saying. I mean, they all are, but when push came to shove, he seems to have freed his people earlier. Maybe he did it to, like, get money or something, but whatever, you know? Someone said, yep, true journalism has died a long time ago. So has health. The same thing that they did to journalism and media and health, the same thing that they did to journalism and media, it's the same thing going on in the health industry. When money becomes a bigger priority than truth, you know, journalism dies. When money becomes a bigger priority than truth and power, science dies. It's not that science is fake. It's that their science is fake. They're like, you don't believe in science. You don't do science. What are you talking about? You shame any scientists who actually accomplish stuff and have Nobel Prizes, and then you guys, like, make up your own theories that are completely wrong based off complete false information. So it's like, you're a science... No, you're brainwashed, and you believe, like, puppets like, you know, Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson, who just constantly, like, deceive people. I would love to have a debate with Neil deGrasse-fed Bison Tyson. I messed up his name. I would love to have a debate with Neil deGrasse-fed Bison Tyson. It would be phenomenal. We could talk about stars, planets, vaccines. You know, we could talk about science. We could talk about climate change. What a fantastic debate that would be. I would enjoy it. Someone said exercise. It's good for you. Can I say that? Is that approved on the censors? Anomaly says exercise is good for people. How dare him? Our labs at the Lancet Studies of Infectious Diseases in report with John Hopkins and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation found that that's not quite so. It's good. It's like, I'm joking. That's a joke, by the way. But overall, let me see. Alba, thank you. She said, your content gets me through the day. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Alba. I appreciate it. Someone's like, Anomaly, stop spreading fear and panic. I'm like, we're having a blast. And people come here, and they're like, thank God I don't feel crazy anymore, because I talk to people and no one knows what's going on. We know what's going on. More people than you realize know what's going on. Everybody has a hunch. It's all good. We're doing the opposite of panicking. We're just having fun. Someone said, make America debate again. Where are these people? I don't know. Everyone's like, it's funny because, like, the amount of backlash is really not that severe. I mean, of course, I don't read all the comments. Some people are pissed off. But most people that are getting as many views as I'm getting on stuff, one, it's all sourced. Everything I say is sourced when I make my viral videos. Two, most people would not debate. Most people are not willing to actually, like, test their ideas. I am. With any infectious disease expert, with any scientist, I want to question them. I have questions. I'm actually trying to interview some of the Tiger King cast too, just because I'm bored. I'm reaching out to them. I'm like, can I get an interview? Can we get some Tiger King interviews? So I said, I'm so down. Thank you, Nicole. All right, I got like 5 more minutes and then I got to go. Did you see Dr. Burke slip up and say Gates and then said, yeah, it's in my last video. Watch my last video. It says, is sunlight a key factor? Watch that video. It's in that one. Maybe that's where you saw it. Do you think a recession will allow big business to monopolize? It's already happening. I'm not like dooming and glooming like we're all screwed, but like, yeah, look at actually my business is doing better, but most people's aren't. I'm not saying that to like brag, but it's like a lot of people's business is downsizing. Amazon's upscaling, so that's not good. You know, Amazon's kind of taking over more. Is it going to happen in general? Probably. And what I make is not really like my stuff. It's mostly Facebook, so they take half of it. So, you know, I think the big companies will be able to swallow this and small companies won't. which is why a lot of people don't realize on the progressive left, $15 an hour minimum wage sounds really good, you know, because people deserve more money. But big businesses can afford that. Small businesses can't. So a lot of progressive policies, if you really implemented them, they would tank smaller businesses, and the Walmarts and stuff would have to pay more, but they'd be able to take over the course of time. They would just take over more, which is why we don't like socialism and communism, which is why we should open up shop, which is why we can't wait here for freaking 5 years. So absolutely it's going to add to the monopolization of certain industries. Someone said, what's in these vaccines? Trump needs to investigate them. If you want to know something interesting, you can Google it. So there's this old interview of Bill Gates, and he's talking about talking to Trump. They said, when's the last time you talked to Trump? In the interview, Bill Gates said, I talked to Trump, and Trump was interested in putting a vaccine safety coalition together with Robert Kennedy Jr., and Bill Gates told him it's a dead end. Actually, I'll play it for you guys if you want real quick. So Trump was looking into that, and Bill Gates told him it was a dead end, and I just don't know what happened after that. Let's find the clip. This is a real, I just want to play it because people think I'm making stuff up. They're like, Anomaly makes up conspiracy theory. Like, no, this really happened. Listen.
So March 2000. Then the second time I saw him was the March after that. So March 2017 in the White House. In both of those two meetings, he asked me if vaccines weren't a bad thing, because he was considering a commission to look into ill effects of vaccines. And somebody, his name is Robert Kennedy Jr., was advising him that vaccines were causing bad things. And I said, no, that's a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that.
Let's listen again. Let me see.
Robert Kennedy. And somebody, his name is Robert Kennedy Jr., was advising him that vaccines were causing bad things. And I said, no, that's a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that.
No, that's a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that. So Trump was looking into some sort of vaccine safety coalition with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And Bill Gates said, you know, studying these things and investigating them, no, that's a bad thing. Don't do that. And if you look into that, I'm going to probably, you know, I'll explain it more because I don't want to misspeak. I like to be very accurate because why wouldn't I? But you look into indemnification and vaccines, who owns it, who has the liability from it. So a lot of this stuff, a lot of these corporations and agencies and billionaires, they're all working together on the, you know, the lawsuit end of it, because for any product you can get sued. Trump probably gets sued every day. Cuomo gets sued every day. So everybody gets sued, but they've worked out a deal, I believe, you got to look it up, with the government where they're not liable like other countries. The government will, you know, absorb their, you know, liability funds. So I guess Bill Gates was like, yeah, you better not look into this, bro. And maybe Trump listened, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But someone said the North Korea dictator's in bad shape. Yeah, that's highly suspicious, you know. Out of everybody, who got sick? Boris Johnson and Kim Jong-un. Very suspicious. Someone said, is the patent real? I haven't looked into it. I saw so many people send it to me, but I've been so busy. I was like, someone said, why are we allowing this? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna take off in a second, though. Thank you guys for being here. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'm highly debating going to Georgia and just supporting small businesses there. We'll see what happens. But overall, I want to say, too, with the live streams on Facebook, I usually keep them up for a few hours. If you were here, you saw it. You saw all you needed to see. But I usually will download them, and then I'll put them on YouTube. And, you know, YouTube, I don't know. I don't do YouTube as much, but I feel like on Facebook, I like my feed clean because I want people to really, if they're going to listen to me, I mean, I think these are awesome, and hopefully people do too. But I like people to really go and, because like this is good, but it's harder to share because I'm saying so much stuff and I sound crazy probably. But my other ones, I really get the facts. I got the information. It's a lot easier to share and it's a lot easier to like show somebody. So I don't like to leave these ones up so then my feed's all crowded and people don't know what to watch. I like to keep those. So in a few hours, if you want to rewatch this one or some of my older live streams and you wonder where they went, you can go to my YouTube page, just search Anomaly, A-N-0-M-A-L-Y, and it should pop up. Anomaly Hip Hop it is, but it's Anomaly spelled A as in apple, N as in Nancy Pelosi. Now, A is in Apple, N is in Nancy, 0, the number 0, very important. A, Apple, N, Nancy, 0, M is in Mary, A is in Alfred, N is in Nebraska, Y is in Yelp, I don't know. So, Anomaly. Look it up on YouTube, and you can find some of these old live streams if you want to watch them again. If not, I don't know, don't watch it. But have a good day. Enjoy yourself, and I just want to end on this note. Don't panic. I know someone thinks I'm panicking. Don't panic. I'm not panicked. Don't fear. I'm not feared. Don't have fear or panic. Just, just take it day by day. Enjoy the wins that you can get. But I do think if there's one thing that we can do, is try to wake our friends and family up, or at least, anybody that we can, not aggressively. You don't got to freak out. Some people, they'll never learn. You just got to not talk to them about politics and stuff. But overall, I think a lot of people want to return to normal. I think everybody wants to return to normal. Some people feel otherwise, some people don't. But try to show them the facts and information about why we shut down, what they said the death rate was, what it is now, how they're saying now you can get it multiple times, which means that, it's not something that you could hide from forever. They didn't say that. They said that hospitals were going to be overwhelmed. They ended up overwhelming them by a mistake the other way, and now they're still just moving the goalposts. So I think that's the best thing we could do, and especially on the right wing, the libertarian conservative side, we can't have too many pom-poms and cheerleaders right now who are just waiting till November. I think that's a bad idea, not just for mail-in ballots, but I think it's a bad idea for the country. I think it's a bad idea for people's jobs. I think it's a bad idea for freedom. And, it doesn't take a physical, I'm not suggesting people physically go protest or lick telephone poles or whatever like they're going to claim I'm saying. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying stand up for yourself. Trump is a populist. At least he acts like one. So if enough people just say, hey, I like you, and the mode shifts where instead of 100% of people saying, we love you, now like 70% of his people say, hey, this is not a good idea. His son pays attention. His campaign is tuned into what's going on. That's going to be the revolution, at least that we can do while following guidelines and not breaking any rules. But overall, it's like months and years of this is not going to really fly on multiple levels. And I think they need to realize that. So overall, God bless you guys. And that's the easy, simple way to stay calm, stay legal, stay, non-panicky, have a good time, enjoy what you can. But at the same time, don't be a pushover, and don't cheer on like the tyranny for not only ourselves but other people who can't absorb what's happening right now, and they keep pushing the date back. Trump needs to step up, and this is what I think we could do right now. God bless you guys. I'll be back sooner than later.